Verse 3, Elijah was afraid and ran for his life. I didn't grab no shoes or nothing, Jesus. When he came to Beersheba in Judah, look at this, he left his servant there. The mighty prophet, the man full of faith and power, is now operating from a position of fear. I mean, just one chapter earlier, he's the great hero calling out the prophets of Baal, challenging them, throwing down the gauntlet. Faith always leads us toward the will of God. Fear always leads us away from the will of God. What's more is the fear seeks isolation. I've seen people get into these seasons where they're in a funk. And I've seen this time and time again. Because they are in this dark place, all of a sudden they begin to isolate themselves from their church. This is a tactic of the enemy, isn't it? To get you away from your covering, to get you away from people who will hold you accountable, to get you away from people who will come around you, put their hands on you, encourage you, love you, pray for you, help meet whatever need that you're facing. In your time of fun, because we all go through it. Come on, somebody help me now. We go through these seasons, right, where we're just off. The worst thing to do is to run for your life because you're afraid and to seek isolation away from your church family. If you're feeling that temptation, you know that that's the enemy attacking you, or maybe it's your own flesh attacking you, and it's the exact opposite of what you should do. That's the time to get more church in you. Get around God's people. Don't isolate yourself. The emotion of fear is a normal human reality, right? It's a normal human condition. It's how we react to the fear that matters. It's how we express our fear that matters. Rather than running in isolation, rather than going into the wilderness and going into a funk, we should stand on the word of God that says, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but what? Of power, of love, and a sound mind. Come on, somebody give the Lord praise in God's house tonight. That's the word of God. Stand on the word of God. And Elijah goes into the wilderness. He's in a funk. And look at God. Just like he did with Elijah, the Lord never leaves us or forsakes us, but he loves us and has mercy on us, and he has grace. And in God's mercy, just like he did for Elijah, he provides for us. God spoke to Elijah, and when we're in the wilderness, he speaks to us. And you may be in the wilderness tonight, but he's speaking tonight to you. He's not forgotten you. He knows exactly where you are, and he knows exactly why you are where you are, and he loves you anyway, and he speaks to you anyway. And sometimes God doesn't speak to us in the spectacular. Sometimes God doesn't send some catastrophic thing, some fire, some earthquake, some wind, something that is terrific and a huge display, but instead, sometimes God speaks most profoundly and most loudly in the still, small voice, gently leading you back home.